Recessions usually extend from a few months to a few years and causes a considerable drop in economic activities. In economics back in school, it was thought that a recession is when the GDP of a country is negative, the unemployment rate increasing, retail sales decreasing, or earnings and production shrinking. Almost all of these are currently happening, and you might wonder how that affects you. Well, keep watching to find out. Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. In today's video, I'm going to tell you what you need to know about the recession, how it affects you, and ways to be prepared. My name is Dima Otitu and I'm a content creator here on YouTube. I mainly talk about personal finance and self-development. If this is your first time on my channel, a huge welcome to you, and if you end up enjoying this video, do well to give me a thumbs up, and for more videos like this, kindly subscribe to the channel. Now let's get into the video. I'll start off by properly explaining what recession is. A reduction in the level of economic activity across the board is what economists refer to as a recession. So a recession is considered to have formally begun whenever 2 consecutive quarters of GDP growth rates have been negative. It is generally accepted that growth and contraction are normal parts of business and economic cycle that people experience. So when the economy is at its lowest point, growth begins, and when it reaches its greatest point, contractions begin. A severe economic downturn that continues for an extended time ultimately leads to depression, like the Great Depression that occurred in the early 1900s and lasted for many years. It was characterized by the decrease in GDP of more than 10%, and they saw unemployment rates reach the highest point at 25%. Now that we have a brief understanding of what recession means, here are some of the major causes of recession. There are a few different ways that a recession may begin, the most common ones which are sudden economic shock or aftermath of inflation that was out of control. These occurrences are some of the primary factors that contribute to a recession. I'm going to try to expand them a little bit. So the first one, as I mentioned, economic shock. An economic shock is an unexpected event that causes significant monetary loss. A more recent example of economic shock is the corona pandemic that we all experienced, which caused economies throughout the globe to shut down. Second one is technological change. Although innovations enhance productivity and the economy in the long run, there may be a brief period of adjustment as people become used to the latest innovations. Many jobs become obsolete as a result of industrial revolution, which in turn causes economic downturns and hardship. Some modern economists are also concerned about the popular AI and robotics, that they think it will trigger economic downturns in the near future. Now the third one is asset bubbles. Negative economic effects tend to follow investment choices made based on feelings rather than logic. Even in a healthy economy, investors may start to feel overly confident. The stock market, crypto, or real estate bubbles are mostly inflated by irrational enthusiasm and may lead to a market collapse and subsequent recessions if investors panic and liquidate their holdings. This brings me to the fourth point, which is too much deflation. Inflation that gets out of hand may cause a recession, but deflation can be far worse. So when prices fall over time, incomes tend to fall along with them, creating a vicious circle of deflation. For the economy to suffer when a deflationary feedback loop is out of control, consumers and businesses must cease spending. There are not so many things that the central bank or economists can even do to address the root cause of deflation, which is why it's very, very dangerous. The fifth one is excessive debt. The expense of debt service may get out of control if a person or companies take on too much debt. When the economy is destroyed by a wave of defaults and bankruptcies caused by these increasing debts. A perfect example of excessive debt leading to a recession is the housing bubble that occurred in the mid-2000s, which in turn contributed to the Great Recession. You can Google this. And then the sixth one is too much inflation, which is the opposite of deflation. So it refers to the long-term tendency of rising prices we are currently experiencing because a lot of things are overly expensive right now. The problem arises when inflation rates get too high. However, by increasing interest rates, central bank can control this, but this affects economic growth. So now some people might ask, how do you then prepare yourself for a recession? Although recessions may be difficult financially, it is also important to remain positive, assess your situation, and be ready to make adjustments and persevere. Recessions always have an end, But here are some of the things you can do to get yourself prepared to avoid being highly affected. So the first one on my list is boost your savings. Yes. Do you know how long you would have to wait before you get a new job in case you lost your old one? Do you have enough money saved to last a month or maybe 6 months or a year? Start putting money away immediately if you don't have enough money to cover at least 3 to 6 months of living costs in savings, which is called emergency fund. If you want to have a full understanding of emergency fund, I explained it in my last video. You can check it out here. I'm also going to link it in the description. The more you put money away, the less likely it is that you would have to take extraordinary actions like using all your credit card debt if you have access to one, or cashing out your pension or long-term savings, or selling your possessions, borrowing money from friends, or even taking loan with very high interest rates. So boost your savings. The second one is prioritizing your purchases. To get started, prioritize your needs above your wants. Things like going on a fancy trip can be reduced to some extent, buying expensive items can wait, and frequenting the restaurants can reduce that by making home food. You should take a look at your spending and see what you can cut or put on hold. If you do this, you may save a lot of money. Understanding the art of the economy is essential in these uncertain economic times. Before warned is to be forearmed. The third one is recession-proof your career. If you don't feel safe in your current position, you may want to look into upgrading your resume, acquiring more marketable skills, expanding your professional network, and applying for higher paying positions. If you lose your primary source of income or see your hours or salary cut as a result of the recession, a second job or side hustle in this gig economy may help you make ends meet. As you know that a lot of companies have been on laying off spree for the past months. The fourth one is to pay off debts. As interest payments are eliminated when you pay them off, more money each month becomes available to you for principal payments and other expenses. This doesn't imply you should get into debts until necessary. Rather, it means you should prioritize debts that help your finances. You shouldn't take on more debt that you can reasonably pay off, especially if you expect your income to drop as a result of the recession. Consider refinancing your mortgage with a lower interest rate if you're paying one, and avoid using credit cards with very high interest rates if you have access to credit cards. And try paying off high interest rate debts as fast as possible because those are money eaters. Recession may have significant and long-lasting effects on the society as well as the economy. So even when the economy has returned to normal growth rates, some individuals who lose their jobs during recession will continue to struggle to find work for an extended time. So a recession may enhance the process of making fundamental changes to the way the economy functions. The unemployment rate after every recession tends to be greater than it was before the economy even entered the recession. Many businesses decline or even close their operations as a result of recession, which has a huge impact on our economy. Knowing all of this in time would help you make better decisions, and I also hope you don't take them for granted. Let me know in the comment section what your take is on the recession and how you're planning to protect yourself. Well, that's all I have for you today in this video. Thank you so much for watching, and if you liked it or learned one or two, make sure to give me a thumbs up and also share with your friends who might find it beneficial. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel, kindly click on the subscribe button. It helps me grow, and I'll see you in my next video. If you have any video you'd want me to create, please do well to leave it in the comment sections. I read all your comments. Thank you so much, and I will see you in my next video.